If you truly have made the decision to say that I am done with being where I am and I'm ready to take that leap to go into the next level of my life, then you're going to need to have a list of gratitudes. Happy Self-Love Sunday. I am Moe Sass, your host of Self-Love Sundays with Sass. This is where I come every single Sunday to talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. Listen, let's get right to it. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Share with everyone you can, because this is going to be one of the most amazing seasons coming up. So first and foremost, if you haven't already, please go out and purchase my book, Find Your Way, 7 Ways to Love and Heal Yourself. You can find it on Amazon. And I also have 2 new books coming out this month, which is my accountability tracker. This is something that you would use if you're working with a coach or desire to work with a coach, or you just want to, track your own accountability for the year. This is going to be super important for your success for 2024, as well as I have my guided journal. Listen, we have to get to a place where we are journaling what's happening in our lives, because this is a way for us to be able to go back and reflect. And this is kind of what I talked about last week. I talked about, how we get ready for the new year is, number one, go back and reflect on what we did last year, starting with the month of January 2023 to 2024. I want you to go back and reflect on your achievements. This is so important. I want you to also take a week, celebrate your success, right? That's what we talked about. Preparing for the upcoming year, which is the vision. I was not talking about goals. We're still not at goal level yet. We're talking about the vision. What do you want 2024 to look like? Also talked about spiritual reflection. Do you have a connection with your higher power? Okay. And if not, let's go to why. Lastly, I left off with setting intentions for the future, because if you're not intentional, it doesn't happen. You have to be intentional about everything in life that you desire. You have to be intentional about being a mom. You have to be intentional about being a dad. You have to be intentional about your relationships. You have to be intentional about your business. You have to be intentional about your job, your love. Intentions set the tone. Okay. So I really want you to go back, if you have an opportunity, go back and listen to last week's message. There was a lot in there. But I also want to build upon that this week, because the number one thing that has helped my attitude is gratitude. So the very first thing I want you to do is create a gratitude list. What are the things that you have been grateful for in 2023? I'm telling you, because gratitude shifts your focus. You can't be sad and crying and grateful at the same time. Okay. You can be crying and grateful at the same time, because I've actually cried in my gratitude. I'm not going to tell y'all that. Listen, I am a crybaby. But why is this list important? Because as you venture out, if you truly have made the decision to say that I am done with being where I am and I'm ready to take that leap to go into the next level of my life, then you're going to need to have a list of gratitudes, because it will help you in the moments when you're feeling low. There has been times that throughout 2023, when I was going through it, guys. I was going through it with, this menopause, not understanding my body, not understanding my mind, going through sweats. My children are growing up, and so now they're leaving the house. It was just so much going on, in my life, and it was overwhelming. So the times when it would get really, really bad, or I want to make it clear, it felt really, really bad, because lo and behold, it wasn't. It felt that way. I was in the middle of the storm, in the middle of the valley, and it felt bad. When I made the list of all the things that I was grateful for, which I have a huge mirror upstairs in my room, and I made that list of what I was grateful for, it literally shifted my attitude. So I made a gratitude list, and I want you to make a love list. What are the things that you love? See, you can't even talk about love and your face not light up. I want you, what are the things that you love? I want you to reflect on those things. I want you to write those things down. This is why journaling becomes so important, because when you reflect on the things you're thankful for and the things that you love, and I'm talking about really love from a healing space, not from a controlling expectation space, it shifts you. When I talk about my love of God, it shifts me. It shifts me. And throughout your journey, there are going to be times where you're going to feel like you're going to want to procrastinate. There's going to be times when you're going to feel like I'm not good enough. There's going to be times you're going to feel like this is not really for me, or this shouldn't happen for me, or I'm not. Listen, what I call it is the battle of who you were born to be versus who you are now. Every time you shift and you go to a new level, and this is why I have coaches along the way, coaches as well as therapists, totally candid about that, because that's why I know my strength comes in, at the ability to have the help along the way, because the old you is going to fight. The old you is going to say, this is the comfort zone, even if it's hell. I remember being on welfare. I was a kid then. And I was like, you know what? I want something more for myself. I want to, do bigger and better things. I remember, getting my first job, landing my job in corporate America. And there would be times where the old me would fight with who I was growing to be. I would be on the job, and sometimes, I'm just going to be candid, I'll be ghetto, okay? Ghetto, trashy, okay? It was the truth. The old me and the new me was battling, and the old me was trying to sabotage where I was headed. But because I understood some of it, not too much back then, but understand some of it now, I had to say to myself, I had to listen, cling on to a higher power, get in the right environment, and have the right people in my ear that help me understand that's just a battle. That's just a battle. And you have to ask yourself, who's going to win? Is it the comfort zone, which is who you are now and where you are now? Or is it the uncomfortable zone, which is where all your blessings lie? When you feel those nerves and those bit and you sweating, and it's like, oh my God, that's where the blessings are. And you have to be willing to take yourself there. But you also have to know where you're going. This is why I'm talking about the vision, right? Reflecting on the vision. You also have to know what you're thankful for. I always say I'm thankful for my mind, and I thank God for peace in my life, because I have peace and I'm able to take time out to think, which most people don't. Majority of people don't take the time out just to sit and think. So everybody is so busy in survival mode. I got to get to the bag. Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong. We talked about the tour, getting to the bag. But if you don't reinvent who you are, you're going to get to the bag and you're just going to throw the bag away anyway. It is what it is. So this is why it's so important to know, to set a vision. Who do you want to be? Who do you desire to be? And work on becoming that thing. But we have to make a list of gratitudes and things that we love. So when we get in those low moments, right, we have those things to reflect on. Those are the things that are going to help you. And I want you to listen, put them in sticky notes. I have them all around my office. I have some on my refrigerator. Everywhere I go, I have a reminder of where I'm going, who I really am, not who they said I am. And I need you to hear that. Somebody today needs to hear, you need to stop listening to who they said you are and come to know who you are for yourself. Really and truly come to know who you are for yourself. I don't care what you did in the past. You heard about my past. Welfare mother, buried 2 sons, divorced, been in verbally and physical abusive type relationships, been molested as a kid. I've made so many mistakes, being in the wrong relationships with the wrong men because I didn't love me enough to even understand what was good for me, what was good for my body. I did all of that. I've been the girl who talked about people. I've been the ghetto girl who, talked and was the loudest in the room, but the most insecure on the inside. I'm okay with saying that today. But I didn't allow any of that stuff, all the mistakes that I made, all the things that, listen, that that hurt me and the people I hurt, if we're going to be honest, I didn't allow it to stop me from growing. I didn't allow it to stop me from loving. I didn't allow it to stop me from being in my gift. I didn't allow it to stop me. So I want you to say to yourself right here today that I am not my past mistakes. I am not my past mistakes. I am not my past mistakes. And I get to have the life that God has destined for me. I get to have the life that I desire. I get to. I need you to believe that. I need you to say it to yourself over and over again. And that's what the gratitude list and the love list is all about. What do you love? Who would you love to be? How would you love to feel? Those were the things that I wrote down. That's why I'm able to do this. I know who I am. I know what I love. I know why I love. I know why I'm doing the things that I want to do. So when you write the vision, I need you to know why. So that's the next thing. After you write your gratitude list and what you love, I want you to write why you want the vision that you wrote last week. Why do you want that? The why has to be big. It can't just be, you want to show something off or whatever, right? Your why has to be huge. Why I want the vision that I want is because I desire to leave a life of legacy, not just money, but love for my children. I want to change every generation that comes after me. I want them to know that our great grandparents before us that preceded us that had to go through slavery, they had to be crawling, be whipped so that we can run and have more. And so that we can build a life and change our history to become something so much greater than anybody ever thought that we could. My why is huge. My why is because my ancestors believe and loved in me, and I will not drop the ball. My why is because I believe and I know that my children deserve to see what their mother can do. And because they watch me, and because they watch me cry, and they watch me call, they watch me go through from surviving to thriving in this world, that they know that they can too. Because I want other Black women, and I want other women in general to see that you can do this. Because I want Black men to know that there are Black women out there that love them so very much and that understands what the world will put in front of us to make us divide, but God is giving us enough love to bring us back together. So my why is huge. What is yours? Why? And it has to be bigger than you, because it's just for you and it's just about you. I promise you, you're going to be unfulfilled. I promise you, you're going to be unfulfilled. Aren't you tired of feeling empty in the inside? Aren't you tired of just keep going and going and doing and never really feeling anything from it? Isn't it tiring? Think about going like that for another 5 years of just doing and doing and doing and doing, and then hoping that somebody will love you back and praying that somebody gives you something, or praying that somebody shows up for you, but you don't even show up for yourself. I want you to really sit. Can you go another 5 years the same way? And if you can't, and if you're not willing, then it's time to get busy. And this work is hard work. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's not easy doing it. But on the other side of it all, it's a life of freedom. It's a life of peace. It's a life of financial stability. It's a life of beauty. You get to see things from a very different perspective. I see things out the lens of my eyes and out my ear. That's so different than I could have ever imagined if you would have asked me this even 10 years ago. But I took a glimpse of my life and I said, 5 years from now, I don't want to be sitting in the same place, doing the same things, talking the same stuff with the same people. Now, if you desire that, then this is not for you. And it's okay. But if you say that pain is too great and you're ready to make a difference, then let's get busy. Okay? So we wrote our gratitude list. We wrote our love list. You got our why together. And now I want you to write a list of self-care. What is it that you need to do to help you in the times when no one else is around? So whether that's physical fitness, because you need to move your body. I believe in a part of freedom is moving your body, really moving and feeling, all the things that we take for granted. Your body is beautiful. Most people don't like their body, and I'm not gonna lie. There's times I'm like, listen, I don't like to say it like, okay, just keeping it a buck with you. It's like, listen, or I don't really like it. But when you stop and think about all the beautiful things your body does for you, do you understand that your body fights every day to keep you alive? Like, really stop and think about it. Your body battles every day. It's battling cancers, it's battling sickness, it's battling for you. It's battling. It's helping you walk, it's helping you talk, it's helping you hear, it's helping you see. It's fighting every single day so that you can live. So, how can you take care of your body better? How can you love your body back the way it's loving you? Even when you don't love it, it's loving you. How do I know? Because it's keeping you running. Hello, somebody. It's keeping you above ground. So, how can you love your body a little bit better? The next thing, how can you take care of your mental? What are some things that you can do, like meditation, like taking time out and really just sitting in stillness and quiet? How can you help your mental? Is it time for you to talk to a therapist? Is it time for you to invite someone in to help you really work through the thoughts and the emotions and the feelings that you're feeling? Is it time for that? All right, emotional well-being. Is it time for you to rest? Are you a person that's so busy, always being busy? I got to be here. I got to do this. I got to do you really got to? Or are you blessed to? And so if you're blessed to do something, then you're blessed to rest because the God I serve gave us Sabbath, and that's the day of rest. And I'm going to tell you something about resting and recharging, moms. Let me tell you something about resting and recharging, dads. It's the best thing that you can do for you and the people that you love. When you allow yourself a chance to take a time out and really rest, really get some real good rest, it allows you to see things from a different perspective. Because when I was ripping and running, my kids, listen, I had travel, cheerlead. This is why nobody can tell me anything about time management. Okay. 6 kids. But at the time when I was running with the last 3, travel softball, travel cheer, and baseball. Okay. So that's all 3 of the sports. Plus I taught fitness, listen, I worked full time and still worked on my body. I was able to get it all done. So I can't do excuses because I lived that life. I took care of my body and took care of my children. There's really no excuse. It's all about time management and time blocking. Sure, I had to get up a little bit earlier, and sometimes I had to go to bed a little bit later, and I was able to get it done. I'm not different than you, and I'm no better. It was that I wanted it, and I wanted something. I wanted to compete in powerlifting, so that meant that I had to go to the gym and I had to figure it out. That meant I had to get some help sometimes, with my kids. But what I'm saying I was to say to you is, if I didn't allow myself time to rest and recharge, I really, really I would have broken myself down. And a lot of you are run down and tired. You can see it with the bags underneath your eyes if you take off the makeup. You can see it in how you are so frustrated, and when you talk to your children, you're so frustrated when you talk to your spouses, you're so frustrated on the job. So many people that I work with at my job are just utterly frustrated with their home life. So they come to work and they take it out on everybody else because they don't allow themselves a time to rest and recharge. They think if they don't do it, it won't get done. I'm here to tell you that's the biggest lie that you can tell yourself. Why? I've watched so many people pass away and die. And after a week, guess what? Everything that they thought couldn't get done without them was getting done. And now that's hard, and that's harsh, and that's hard to hear, but it's the truth. Your job, a lady recently, she passed away a couple of months ago on the job, and everybody was sad. They sent out the thing for her funeral, took up a collection, and a week later, they were floating her job. That's the harsh reality. So this I can't climb the corporate ladder unless I do all these things. Listen, I did all of it. I wanted the promotions. I did all the extra hours. I'm here to tell you that you have to learn in life to work smarter, not harder. Okay. Rely on your brain. But in order to do that, you have to allow yourself time to rest. You have to there is a season of rest. There is a season of rest. And no, that doesn't make you lazy. That's another thing that happens, right? If you rest, somebody will say you lazy. Well, this is why you need to come to know you. This is why this has to be the last year that you're listening to other people tell you how to do things, because people don't even know this is your rest season. And it's not that you're lazy, it's that it's your time to rest. You have planted and planted and planted and planted and watered, and you're tilling the soil so much that you're tearing up what you're trying to have grow, all because you won't rest. Stop listening to people. Come to know the season of your body. Come to know the season of your mind. What season are you in? And a lot of times at the end of the year, this is the rest period for some people. So if this is the time for you to rest and recharge, then do that. Spend the day taking care of yourself. Start to come to know yourself. This is going to be important in 2024, because when you know your seasons, then you'll know this is the season for you to start to plant, which means you're going to have to dig up the ground, take out the weeds, right? It's a lot of work to do to get the ground ready for the new seed. So you have to know that. And you can't get frustrated with people if you walk in their programs or you do whatever, and it's like, it's not working. Well, maybe this is not the season for you to be there. I had to come to learn that for myself too, and walk away from some things and say, wait a minute, it's not the right time for that. Okay. So you have to come to know that for yourself. All right. And then, after you've really taken the time, I want you to look at your nutrition. What are you putting in your body? What are you eating? I'm not here to tell you not to eat meat, to be a vegetarian, to eat leaves. That's not why I'm here. It's not. I just want you to be conscious of working with your body. As I say it to you, I say it to myself. I want you to be conscious of what you're putting in your body. Your body is working very, very hard for you. So to fill it with smoke, to fill it with alcohol, to fill it with a bunch of fast foods, I want you to really think about that for a second. How sometimes we self-sabotage our own bodies. I'm not perfect in this. No one is. Not telling you, I'm not shaming you, I'm not condemning you. I'm just telling you to be conscious and aware of what you're putting in your body and how that food affects you. Because a lot of times we don't think about that. I do, because I feel it. When I eat certain fast food, I remember all right, like if I eat anything like a Popeyes or something like that, I usually feel really grossed out afterwards. Like you get this high, I think, when you first eat it, and then afterwards you feel really down and sick. And sometimes it affects your mood. Sounds crazy. Look it up if you think it is. It's a very true factor. And I also found when I would do my fast, or when I would take, meat out my diet or certain dyes out my diet, my body would feel so much better. I felt so much better. I would hear more, feel more, see more. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I do before I go to a conference, and I'm getting ready to go to one coming up soon, I usually fast, sometimes 7 days just liquid. This time I'm going to do 3 days. I fast 3 days just liquid. I usually do that before I go to a conference. And the reason why I do it is because when I do that, my body and my mind become so clear. I'm able to really hear and see. And it allows me, when I go to those conferences, not just to hear what I need to hear from me, but it allows me to pour into other people. One of my gifts that God has given me is I'm able to see people and kind of tell them beautiful things about themselves, or whatever obstacle may or may not be in the way. It's just one of my gifts. So it allows me to pour into other people. So that's normally why I do that. So I'm sharing this with you today because, again, we're talking about where do we want to be in 2024. I know for me, optimizing my nutritional and physical health is going to be big on the plate for me, because menopause was new for me, and I just wasn't ready for all the things that happened, because it wasn't a conversation that women were really having. I find that people are having the conversation more now. in having the conversation to women who can't use synthetic hormones. Like for me, because I had 2 breast cancer scares, and I'll share this with you too. Another reason why I was gone and away for a minute is I had a breast cancer scare. I had to have 2 biopsies in my right breast, and I have this huge scar now. So I won't take anything that's going to, enhance that cancer factor in my life. So I have to now rethink how I'm going to do everything in terms of my body for 2024. I have to rethink how I'm going to exercise. I have to rethink what I'm going to be putting my body in terms of food. So there's a lot of things that have to go into that. But if I don't take the time, hear me, to rest, recharge, and give myself downtime to really think about it, I won't be able to do it. And also be able to call in the help. I happen to, because I was in the fitness industry for so long, I know people who, I was a personal trainer, so I know anybody about my body more so than I need someone who specializes in menopause and working with the body. Because sometimes just because you know it doesn't mean that you know what's right for you at that time. The same thing about the food, the nutrition pieces of it. My girlfriend is working her nutrition certification, so I'll go to her and she'll make me a meal plan. Right. So what I'm saying to you is that as we think about how we're going to go into 2024, we're looking at all of these different aspects of reflecting on what we did so we can think about where we're going. The thing is, I need you to, this is the last part of it. What in 2023 did you want to achieve that you didn't? What is the one thing, you can do 2, maybe 3 tops, that you wanted to achieve and you didn't? And then I want you to ask yourself, what happened? And I want you to ask yourself what happened in terms of just looking at you. I don't want you to bring anybody else into this story. I don't want to be, oh, my husband didn't do this, or my kids didn't do that. I want you just to look at you and say, what is it that I wanted to achieve in 2023 that I didn't, and why? I really want you to write that, because here's why. Sometimes it's, we don't accomplish things for different reasons, but I want you to look at the gap and notice if there's any trends in the gap. The reason why it's going to become important is because we're planning 2024. We want to make sure that we bust up some of those trends so they don't come into 2024 and stop us from achieving what it is that we said we want to achieve. Okay, so there were some things for me that I did not achieve in 2023, and I had to take a good hard look at what was in the middle of that. And what was in the middle of that for me was I wasn't prepared for this new season of my life and dealing with hormones. There was an unexpected thing that happened with my breast, and it took me in a tailspin. And it took me in a tailspin, and because I wasn't ready for the tailspin, I had to go a different avenue and route, which means I had to call in some specialists and say, hey, listen, I need some help. So it took me off course a little bit. So when I look at that, I ask myself, now, if what can I do differently in 2024? So now I'm writing those things out so I'll be prepared. You see? So we're not looking back to beat ourselves up, to say, oh, we don't have this and we don't have that. That's not the name of this game. This is so we can prepare ourselves for what 2024 is going to bring, because we're going to align ourselves with it and we're going to prepare for it. A lot of times you don't have what you want. There could be 2 factors in this, because I'll say this. Sometimes what you want, you don't need. I said what I said, okay? But there's also a factor in this, in that there are some things that are prohibiting you, some thought patterns. There are some things that, in terms of, not asking for help, not knowing where to get the help from, not willing to invest in yourself. Oh my God, for people who, don't want to spend money. I'm just like, well, if you don't know one thing for certain and 2 from now, you have to spend it to make it. It's a very true thing. It is. It is. I had to invest in myself. I had to invest in my mindset. I had to invest in my spiritual awakening. I had to invest in my nutritional health, my physical health. I have to pay. And it's paid off. Not just for me, but for my clients who looked at their lives 5 years from now and said, yeah, I can't afford not to. I can't afford not to join this community. I can't afford not to go to this coach. I can't afford not to go to therapy. I can't afford it. Because in 5 years' time, if I keep on this, I'm going to lose my family. I'm going to lose my husband. I'm going to lose my wife. I'm going to be dead because I'm not taking care of my body. And I'm so busy doing for everyone else that I'm neglecting me, and I think that that's love. I don't know who taught you that. That isn't love. Okay? So those are some of the things that I want you to reflect on. Again, check out my first video from last week. And we have the things that we're going to do for this week. And then I'll come back and we're going to tie it all together in terms of what to do with all this information that you have. So if you want to reach out to me, www.mosass.com. You can always subscribe to my website. You can send me messages on here. You can which is YouTube. You can also message me, email me info@moesass, MOESASS.com. Reach out to me on Instagram, Facebook, Life Coaching with Sass. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to update all of that. You're going to start seeing my name more than anything. So I'm super excited for that's coming up as well. But for right now, those are some of the ways you can get in touch with me. I hope you have the most amazing, amazing rest of your day.